Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome U.S. Marine Corps veteran, actor, and producer, Caleb Wells.
Hi, my name is Caleb Wells, and I was born into a life of adventure. My dad was an Air Force pilot turned missionary. My mom, a physical therapist working at the schools on base, and they were both in Seoul, South Korea when I was born. We lived there until I was 6 years old and then moved to Germany, where I joined a traveling ice hockey team and visited over 20 countries before I was 14. We then moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, where I, by the 10th grade, knew I wanted to continue the adventure and be a Marine. So after college, I was commissioned a second lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps. And during training, I was given my first choice of jobs, infantry, and my first choice of duty station, Hawaii. I was living the dream. And within 4 months of arriving in Hawaii, I was deployed to Haqqaniya, Iraq, as a platoon commander with 40 Marines. It's 2006. Most of what we did were patrols, clearing operations, raids, and it was kinetic. My battalion lost 23 Marines and sailors. I came back from that deployment. I trained for 9 more months, and I was on my way back to Iraq. This time it's 2008. My responsibility, 80 square kilometers with 8 separate villages. I traveled around and I met with the tribal leaders, the police chiefs, and I helped them with rebuilding infrastructure and security. And the clearest point in my mind when I left was that all they wanted was to protect their family, their community, provide for their future. Same as me. So I came back this time looking at people differently, with more compassion, with more connection, with more empathy, which made me decide while I was stationed in Quantico, Virginia, running the Marine Corps shooting team, that when my contract ended, I was going to get out. I was running a range one day, and we had these business guys visiting from New York, and I was telling them my story. And an executive from JP Morgan hands me his card and says, "You better call me." I did, and 14 interviews later, I was on my way to New York City to be a business analyst for JP Morgan Chase. I really tried to love this job. I got the Brooks Brothers suit and tie, the Cole Haan shoes. I worked my ass off. I even bounced around the company trying different things, the investment bank, the private bank, the corporate sector. But I just couldn't see myself doing that for another 20 years. So living in New York, I had, of course, met some actors, thought they were pretty cool people. So I tried an acting class, and I loved it, and I kept doing it. I started training at the studio, Anthony Mindel's Actor Workshop, great place. And I realized I still had this thick steel plate of armor over my chest that limited access to emotions. Because in the military, making emotional decisions can be very, very dangerous to you and your troops. But in acting, you want to be vulnerable. You want to dig deep down inside yourself and identify a link to a character, and then be emotionally available to show that and let it loose in front of a bunch of people. It seemed crazy to me. But when I really started to change, acting became this thing where I just completely loved being in the moment with other people through a story. It was so cool. I started to meet other veterans doing creative stuff, writers, directors, and we banded together. We wanted to help each other. So we started a writing group. We'd meet at 9 a.m. Saturday mornings at a bar, Sebastian Junger's bar, in Chelsea, Manhattan. And we'd talk about scripts, talk about screenplays and scenes we'd written and sent around to each other. And it quickly became half screenwriting chats, half support group, because we were all trying to figure out this new passion we were getting into after the military and make it in New York City. We started shooting PSAs and short films and realized we work really, really well together in planning and on set. Because Our specific military skills didn't transfer, but our culture did. So we decided to try to make a business out of it. We took our military operation briefs, turned them into creative briefs and production briefs, and it was working. We were being hired to shoot more and more projects. Everybody we worked with knew that we would come to the table having thought about every possible aspect of the production. And if anything went awry on set, we were cool, calm, collected, and would handle it. So it's working. The business is running. We're doing great stuff. We're shooting commercials, brand videos, industrials. We just finished a project for Chase Bank in Manhattan, a hospital in Syracuse, New York, and a tennis tournament in Czech Republic. But what we're really excited about is 2018. In the spring, we're going to be shooting some short form projects, but we're also developing a TV series and 2 feature films for the near future. We see a lot of movies and content about war and veterans and post-traumatic stress, and some of them are really good. A lot of them are sad. And there's humor out there that not everyone understands. So we see it as an opportunity to continue to bridge the gap between veterans and the rest of society. See, the difference with our storytelling is that we're starting with themes that everyone understands. We're not just going to tell jokes that only military folks will laugh at. We're starting with themes like transition, community, purpose, and we're finding the humor within those human stories from our perspective. So with the right kind of storytelling, we believe we can further bridge the civilian-military divide. My name is Caleb Wells. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, actor, producer, and co-founder of a production company based in New York City called Tomahawk Pictures. Thank you.